Fresh hoof prints stamped deep into the wet soil looked like a taunt. We couldn't allow the crops to be destroyed any further. One boar managed to escape the opening volley. We left the woods and advanced onto the open fields, prime feeding grounds at this hour. Shots echoed one after another, and bodies dropped in succession. I spotted another boar hiding in the brush. For us, the war against wild boars never truly ends. They wreak havoc all year round, no matter the terrain or the weather. When they hide in the icy snow-capped mountains and slip into the shadowy snowy forests, the pursuit becomes tougher than ever. Treacherous slopes force us to tread with extreme caution, while the blinding white forest erases almost every trace. But no matter where they hide, no matter how harsh the conditions, our mission remains the same. Stop these beasts before they destroy the crops and the livelihood of the locals. Today, join us on 2 thrilling hunts to see how we dealt with them. First, let's head into the majestic snow-covered mountains of the United States. Armed with rifles, winter gear, binoculars, and every piece of essential equipment, we were ready to take on the icy challenge. The wild boar hunt in the frozen mountains officially begins. After nearly an hour tracking deep prints in the thick snow, The entire team froze in place. A faint rustle came from up ahead. So quiet, the whole forest seemed to hold its breath. I moved closer, raised my binoculars, and scanned for movement. Then I saw them, a herd of wild boars, moving silently in single file across a snowy hillside. Without hesitation, I raised my rifle, locked onto my target, a boar in the middle of the group, wading slowly through the snow in search of food. Then, boom, the gunshot ripped through the frozen silence. The boar collapsed into the white snow. Nearby, my teammate David took down another, adding to today's haul. The rest of the herd scattered in panic, charging toward a snowy ridge, right where David was lying in wait. One lone boar broke away from the group, stranded in the blinding snow, and walked straight into my sights. Perfect distance, perfect timing. Then, boom, its massive body crumpled into the deep snow without a chance to fight back. Hours of patience ended in a single second. We pushed deeper into the dense forest, where the snow was churned up, clear signs the herd had just been feeding. Ahead, 2 boars were buried in their feast, heads down and completely unaware. I squeezed the trigger. The shot cracked like thunder. The beast dropped. Instantly, the challenger had fallen. What do you think? Was that a perfect shot? Let us know in the comments. Now, let's head into an entirely different hunt, deep winter in the frozen forests of North America. A perfect hideout for wild boars, and a sign that things were about to get intense. Unbelievable. My hunting dog was pushing a boar at least 5 times its size straight toward me. No hesitation, I pulled the trigger. The bullet was so fast, it was almost invisible, striking the beast dead on. A clean fall. The snowy backdrop made for the perfect final scene. Do you think this shot deserves golden moment status? Comment below. That afternoon, we ventured deeper into the snow-covered woods. Suddenly, a wild boar burst into a sprint across the frozen forest. I tracked it quickly. The open clearing ahead was the perfect place to end it. The first shot rang out, boom, breaking the stillness of the forest. The boar slid and collapsed in the icy snow. Not far away, David took down 2 more. As the daylight faded, the last light filtered through the old trees, carrying a chill and a rush of adrenaline. I lined up for the final shot of the day. The first bullet missed, my heart skipped a beat. The boar spun and ran. I quickly followed with a second shot. It crashed into the brush and fell. Brutal, yet spectacular. On the other side, a single shot from my teammate claimed another life just as cleanly. And the most important thing, Every moment happened within the bounds of the law, respecting nature and ethical hunting. This wasn't just the end of a forest hunt, it was the pinnacle of skill, patience, and honor that only a responsible hunter truly deserves. And just like that, today's hunt came to a close. The team returned with plenty of game, wide smiles, and relief knowing we had eliminated threats to this land. At the foot of the Alberas Hills, the village of Alberobilo still seemed to slumber peacefully in the early morning light. But when we looked at the fertile fields ravaged and destroyed, we knew something terrible had happened. According to Joss, the village chief, the culprits this time were once again massive wild boars, each weighing hundreds of kilos and dangerously aggressive. There was no time to hesitate. Our hunting team immediately gathered our gear and set out, determined to track down these beasts and restore peace to this quiet land. But would we succeed? Follow us and see for yourself. We began our journey from the top of the hill, where the wind howled through every crevice of stone. Suddenly, a faint rustle from the far slope jolted me into full alert. The moment my eyes caught sight of a hefty boar feeding near its hiding place, I wasted no time. I squeezed the trigger. A single gunshot echoed. The beast collapsed instantly, never even able to resist. The target was swiftly neutralized by our hunting team, men forged through countless trials and dangers even harsher than this. It was a promising start, but we all knew tougher challenges still awaited ahead. We followed the ridgeline, moving down into the valley to climb the higher hill beyond. Just as we reached the basin between the two slopes, Mark suddenly raised his hand. Stop. Ahead of us, a group of wild boars was foraging beneath the low branches. I crouched down instantly, raising my rifle in the direction Mark pointed. A slight nod from him. I understood. I pulled the trigger. The bullet tore through the lead boar. It collapsed on the spot, sending shockwaves through the herd. The rest scattered in panic into the woods. Our team pressed forward, and a few more targets fell soon after. We reached another hillside where the sparse trees gave us a wide field of view. Out of nowhere, a boar darted at full speed across the field below. Without hesitation, I steadied my breath, raised the rifle, and fired. The bullet struck home. The beast staggered a few steps before collapsing. We had barely rested for a few minutes when an alert came in. A boar was wandering up from the foot of the hill, following a narrow trail upward. We couldn't let it get any farther. The hounds flushed it out in no time. Seizing the perfect moment, I raised my rifle and fired decisively. A sharp crack echoed. The boar froze, staggered a few steps, then collapsed on the slope. The rifle barrel hadn't even cooled when suddenly the hounds erupted in furious barking on the opposite slope. I spun around. No mistake, they had found the biggest target, the alpha. Without delay, the team fell into formation as planned. I held the intercept position while John closed in from the flank. The hillside seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the decisive moment. As soon as the beast broke from the brush, David fired. A thunderous shot, unstoppable in its force. The giant boar toppled, instantly lifeless on the grass. By late afternoon, just as we thought the hunt was over, a sudden movement on the hillside caught my eye. Through the scope, I spotted a dark figure creeping through dry grass, sneaking along the trail villagers often take to their fields. We couldn't allow it to go any farther. I pulled the trigger. Boom. One shot, swift and decisive. The beast crumpled into the weeds, ending the chase that had lasted all day. If you're not a real hunter, never dare stand in the path of these creatures. Before you even catch your breath, you could become prey yourself. Our Range Rover, loaded with today's trophies, rolled off the windy slope and down the familiar trail. Inside, each of us carried a quiet satisfaction. We may sacrifice sleep, strength, even our safety, just so the villagers can sow their crops in peace. In the outskirts of Texas, where endless fields stretch far into the horizon, the lives of local farmers are being torn apart by the overwhelming presence of wild boars. These beasts don't just tear through cornfields and destroy grazing pastures, they even dare to attack livestock in barns and stables. Facing this growing threat, one familiar name returns. Ethan, a seasoned hunter whose reputation precedes him. Alongside his trusted team, summoned by the local authorities, he sets out to restore order. Armed with modern rifles, GPS trackers, and unshakable determination, Ethan's crew begins their mission at dawn. But the question remains, will this journey bring a clean victory, or will the cunning monsters of the fields turn it into a grueling battle? The team had barely trekked 10 minutes across the grasslands when instinct whispered that danger was near. Ethan caught it first, the pounding rhythm of hooves, growing louder, shaking the very ground beneath their feet. In a flash, a massive herd of boars burst forth, thundering across their path. Ethan wasted no time. He raised his rifle, locked onto the largest brute in the pack, and boom! One clean shot, one instant takedown. The herd scattered in sheer panic, fleeing in all directions. A powerful, precise opening strike, the perfect start to what would be an action-packed hunt. But there was no time to celebrate. The team fanned out, chasing after the chaos. Moments later, a lone boar barreled straight back toward Ethan, desperate to break through the hunter's line. Unfazed, Ethan steadied his aim. The crack of his rifle split the air. The beast froze mid-stride before collapsing in the dirt, never given a second chance. A hulking shadow tore through the grass. The rifle tracked its every frantic move. Then came the sharp, decisive blast. The boar stumbled, slid across the dirt, and dropped lifeless, its desperate escape ending in futility. Pushing further out, the hunters thought they might finally catch a breather. But no, out of nowhere, another boar lunged forward, as if bent on a reckless last stand. Its gamble cost dearly. Under Ethan's unwavering aim, the rifle barked once more. The bullet struck true, dropping the beast instantly where it stood. If you've ever wondered just how fast wild boars can move, this moment says it all. Barely 5 minutes after the last encounter, another ferocious boar stormed into view, its speed terrifying. Ethan fired, the first shot missed. The beast weaved and dodged like it was taunting him. A second shot echoed, but still it darted away. Then came the third, a steady aim, a perfect release. The bullet struck home. The boar staggered, slid through the tall grass, and after a futile struggle, finally succumbed. By day's end, exhaustion weighed on the team as they began the journey back. But fate had one last challenge in store. Another boar emerged, but instead of fleeing like the others, it stood its ground, growling, glaring, daring the hunters with feral eyes. And the outcome? Inevitable. A deafening gunshot tore through the silence. The beast crumpled where it stood, its defiance short-lived. Another hunt concluded. With precise shots and calm execution, Ethan's team eliminated the rampaging beasts and brought relief to the farmlands. Most importantly, every step of their mission was carried out within designated hunting zones in strict compliance with the law. For us, the war against wild boars never truly ends. They appear all year round, at any time of day or season. In autumn, when dry leaves crunch under our feet, every hunt brings a different kind of challenge. But when winter arrives, snow blanketing the mountains, cold cutting to the bone, the battle turns into something entirely different. Each season is a new battlefield, yet our mission never changes: to stop the advance of these destructive beasts. Today, come with us and see how we face them. Hunting is never simple. Behind every shot are hours of watching, calculating, and waiting in absolute silence. It is a duel between human patience and nature's wariness. And then, the moment finally comes. Our first target of the day appears. The forest is swallowed in thick snow, trees stripped bare like silent sentinels. From afar comes the crunching of snow under heavy steps, a herd of wild boars marching forward, unaware that death lurks close. Bang! The gunfire slices through the frozen air like blades. 2 boars collapse into the snow, while the rest scatter in panic, vanishing into the depths of the forest. hidden behind bare branches. Suddenly, a massive boar bursts out from the cold gray trunks, charging straight at me with brute force. No time to think. Boom! The bullet rips through the air, striking the beast square in the head. It crashes onto the snow. On the other side, our golden-furred companion leads the target into the open with a furious bark, supporting David. As if on cue, boom, the shot shatters the silence. The beast staggers, collapses, and sinks into the white expanse as though blown out of existence by an invisible winter gale. On another ridge, our teammate Thomas has taken position as planned. The hillside is a harsh place, cliffs and steep slopes, where wild boars often hide deep in the brush or crawl into dark crevices, making them almost impossible to spot. As Thomas moves along the slope, a wild boar suddenly bursts out like an arrow through the silence. With 10 years of hunting experience, Thomas reacts instantly, rifle raised, aim, fire. Bang!
Come on.
Further down the slope, a boar is casually enjoying its midday meal, unaware that it's already in our sights. But it's too late. Rifle loaded, Thomas locks his eyes on the target. The shot is clean, direct, lethal. The boar drops instantly. What do you think? Was that a perfect 10? Let my teammate know in the comments. Halfway down the hillside, cautious boars emerge from the dense brush. Holding my breath, I raise my rifle. Eyes sharp, fixed on their every move. The click of the bolt echoes in the stillness. 2 shots ring out across the slope, both striking true, both fatal. Today, we've claimed plenty of trophies. Our legs ache, our bodies are exhausted after the long hunt, yet our hearts are full. It's not only the thrill of the kill, it's the relief of knowing we've helped protect the land from destruction. And perhaps, tomorrow, the journey begins again, hardships and surprises waiting ahead. They're not the silent lurkers in the shadows. Wild boars, ferocious beasts, are storming closer to human habitats, tearing through fields, destroying property, and threatening the safety of livestock and people alike. Against this backdrop, hunting trips are no longer just thrills or daring adventures. They're a vital stand to restore balance between humanity and nature. So, how will this relentless chase between man and these savage creatures end? Join us to witness the heart-pounding, high-stakes journey in today's gripping video. This trip plunged us into the rugged hills of America, a hotspot where wild boars roam rampant, wreaking havoc on local farmers' livelihoods. Armed to the teeth with rifles, camouflage gear, and GPS trackers, our crew dove deep into the forest, kicking off a thrilling hunt amidst untamed wilderness. Tiptoeing across the barren hillside, a sudden rustle from the brush ahead snapped me to attention. My gut screamed that the prey was lurking there. I steadied myself, raised my rifle, and tracked every flicker of movement. Seconds later, a dark mass exploded from the thicket like a bolt of lightning. Instinct kicked in, I squeezed the trigger. The gunshot shattered the eerie silence. The bullet flew true, striking its mark. The beast tumbled, rolling a few times before lying still on the cold ground. Venturing deeper into the desolate heart of the barren hill, I suddenly spotted another beast slinking through the brittle underbrush. Not letting the chance slip away, I swiftly took position, steadied my rifle, and locked onto the target. A single, precise shot rang out, the bullet slicing through the air and striking the prey's head dead on. It collapsed instantly, no chance to resist, the hunt over in mere seconds. My gunshot seemed to jolt the entire hillside awake. Just minutes later, a full-grown wild boar burst through a narrow rocky crevice. Without hesitation, I raised my rifle, took careful aim, and pulled the trigger. The sharp crack of the shot tore through the stillness, hitting the beast square in the shoulder. It stumbled, lost its momentum, and crashed to the ground. The hunt on the hill ended with hard-earned trophies claimed from the wild. Stepping away from the rugged hills, join us as we shift to a thrilling night hunt across the vast plains of America. Fully equipped with weapons, binoculars, and GPS, we're primed for a new, heart-pounding challenge under the stars. Rolling through the night in our pickup truck, the engine's roar echoed through the eerie silence, sending a chill through every breath. Spotting a target ahead, we swiftly closed in. Leaping from the truck, I raised my rifle and locked onto the prey. A clean shot rang out. The target dropped in an instant, utterly still. My gunshot sent the surrounding prey into a frenzy. From the shadowy brush, a beast bolted past mere inches from me, spiking the tension to a fever pitch. Determined not to let it escape, I gave chase and fired. The crack of the shot reverberated through the dark, shattering the night silence. The wild boar struck hard, crashed to the ground, skidding across the dew-soaked grass before lying completely still. This hunting trip drew to a close after hours of intense stalking and pinpoint-accurate takedowns in the untamed wilds of America. Every action was carried out in strict compliance with local hunting regulations in permitted areas,